everybody. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Not Late Show, the show for people asleep by Kimmel, coming to you live from a cabin in Alaska. And with me tonight, we have two girls on a couch. Thank you for being here. We've got a great lineup for you tonight. David Spade is here. And we're going to take a look outside the window. So I did my first drive-in comedy open mic recently. It was really cool. So the comics stood on the back of a pickup truck. The mic was replaced or cleaned after every set, and people in their cars tuned to a radio station to hear it. And, you know, it was a bunch of cars in the parking area of a local bar. I was asking the host, you know, about the show. I asked him, you know, what's a crowd going to be like? He just said, a lot. And instead of laughing, people honked their horns. So my goal for the night was at least one full airbag deployment. Yeah, it's like police are going to be there, like, what happened? It's like, I don't know, the guy was killing it, though. Seriously. Some of the cars were nice, but it was Anchorage, so there were a lot of junkers out there. Actually, I hadn't seen that many junkers all in a row since Taylor Swift's last album. I'm sorry, Taylor. No, this one, no, it wasn't doing it for me. But I mean, you could just tell looking from the audience how big the crack problem is in Anchorage, too. It was like every windshield. I hadn't seen that many cracks since the Plumbers Convention last summer. Their windows looked like they'd seen more crashes than my PC at home, yeah. They have more cracks than Joe Exotic's whip on a new boyfriend. Those windshields, they looked weaker than Carol Baskin's Alibi. We've got a great show for you guys coming up here. David Spade is here, everybody. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Everyone, it's time to look outside the window. A popular conspiracy theory online says that Bill Gates created the coronavirus in order to microchip people, but believers in the theory say they aren't worried. If it is Windows-based, the whole system should crash any minute. Minute, whatever. Gates and his wife made headlines for purchasing an oceanfront property near San Diego for $43 million. When asked what drew him to the property, Gates replied, the windows. Upon moving in, Gates reportedly fired their new housekeeper as well, who was overheard saying she doesn't do windows. Some people don't do it. Left-wing activists had fun stretching President Trump's rambling commentary on coronavirus into headlines suggesting that he suggested injecting disinfectants into the human body in order to kill the coronavirus. Unaware that his handlers had already debunked the media hits, Trump doubled down by saying, if people are feeling like they have low energy, they can try sticking their finger in a socket. I don't know, maybe it will work, maybe it won't. Also, if you were one of the people who did the Tide Pod challenge, your insides might already be clean, which would be a beautiful thing. I also recommend, if you need to loosen up the joints, pouring a full synthetic motor oil into your body. I recommend 5W30. It works great on all my trucks. At least that's what the people who drive my trucks tell me. And they're great people, wonderful people. No one has better people. Some hospitals in heavily Democratic New York play the popular song Don't Stop Believin' when coronavirus patients are discharged. However, the song abruptly stops when patients are sexually assaulted by Joe Biden. CNN Business reported last week that one of the largest pork processing facilities in the U.S. is closing until further notice. The president weighed in, saying he's working to get Congress back and opened into session as soon as possible. They process a lot of pork. Former intelligible Vice President Joe Biden announced his plan to safely reopen America last week from deep inside the Earth's core. The highlights of his three-point plan are to 1. Stop the virus, 2. Make sure H1N1 never comes back, and 3. Order a now open sign from Amazon. You're going to need one of those, I imagine. Former President Barack Obama has finally endorsed Biden as the presumptive Democratic nominee as part of the new Make-A-Wish for Seniors Foundation. Obama said he was happy it all came together before, well, you know. Speaking of presidents, based on the latest data, our team of experts now agrees that we can begin the next front in our war, which we're calling Opening Up America Again, said the president last week. Along with more stimulus checks, the president will be including personally signed Owawa hats, along with a self-addressed White House envelope for your thank you card. You can write it to Donnie or the Don or the Great Don, whatever you like. Guam worries as sailors from the virus-hit ship USS Roosevelt take over hotels. Local businesses are worried the already low supplies of Skol will become even worse. A 64-year-old man ejected himself from a fighter jet at 2,500 feet in France. Investigators concluded that the error was an accident caused by an involuntary reflex prompted by stress and the jet's sudden movement. But the Not Late Show got a different story after speaking to the man, who said the jet was piloted by his wife of 42 years, and he reached for the handle when she said she would navigate. And that's what's outside the window. My next guest was on Saturday Night Live. He starred in the beloved Tommy Boy, and he's producing his Lights Out Lo-Fi Chats during the coronavirus. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to introduce David Spade. It appears David had to cancel due to coronavirus. That's a big bummer. We hope to have him back soon. David, you're welcome back here anytime. That's all we have for tonight. Remember, folks, true for you is not a thing. Examine your life, do the work, go to church. Good night.
Ding dong, ding dong, ding ding ding.